Last night, we told you about the Antifa assault on conservative journalist Andy Ngo and the authorities in Portland who allegedly did nothing to intervene. Tonight, we begin with Ngo earlier today excoriating the police.
I just kept thinking at any moment after the first punch to the back of my head that police were going to swoop in and save me, but it never happened. How many more people have to be beaten and attacked in the city of Portland before things change? Policing has remained the same, which is a policy of not engaging with militant protesters.
Joining me now is Harmeet Dhillon. She's the attorney for Andy Ngo. Harmeet, thank you for being here. How is Andy doing tonight, and what new information have you learned about the attack on your client?
Well, Andy is struggling, to be frank. I mean, a lot of, the speech affect that you see there is much slower than his normal way of talking and his pace of speaking. And so it's very troubling for anybody who knows him to see him like that. We're going to be sure that he gets some neurological tests and support going forward so that he recovers fully, because he's a very bright young man. He just published a piece in the Wall Street Journal tonight about his ordeal. Yeah. So what we've learned since the attack is a lot more details about who did what and in what sequence. I mean, there's been a great amount of people on the internet helping to source identification from different angles of the attackers. And so with all of the all of the pressure that has gone on the press, from the press on what happened there, we've had a lot of pressure on the police to identify specific assailants and then seek support from the public to put a name to a face. And so this afternoon, the police department put out a press release identifying pictures of some people and asking for the public to help identify them and putting out a reward as well.
Yeah, no, it's terrifying. I mean, I'm reading reports of fiberglass in the gloves, steel knuckles. I mean, it's terrifying what's going on. Now, you tweeted out earlier, Harmeet, that you would sue into oblivion the people who did this. Are you talking about the Antifa protesters or the city themselves, who really, you allege, stood by and did nothing?
Well, I'm going to reserve judgment on who in government deserves to be sued. I think that's an open question. And today we're seeing some fissures between the police department and the mayor's office. It looks like they're pointing fingers at each other over this situation. But I think what is indisputable from experts who are watching the crowd control situation there is that the police staffing was understaffed for the type of event that it was, the anticipated riot. They've had these riots there frequently, and they don't prepare for them properly. This isn't a podunk town, it's a big city. But in terms of the actual criminals, they get away with it. They're allowed to walk around with masks. Oregon is a state that does not ban masks. Ironically, California does ban masks in the use of a crime. So they get away with it. They come again and again. It's the same people. They knew Andy's name. And this has to stop. And even if they're broke and living in their parents' basement, I intend to sue these people into oblivion and make sure they're never able to do anything like this again. I don't care if they're bankrupt. We will make sure that they feel some pain for what they did to Andy.
Harmeet Dhillon, thank you for being here. We will check in with you as this case proceeds.